Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Business Day. The major story here says Tinubu eases throttle on taxes, charges on vehicles, beers, phone calls, others on hold. Tinubu eases throttle on taxes, charges on vehicles, beers, phone calls, others on hold. You find all the details on the front page of the Business Day. We'll move now to the front page of the Voice of Liberty. Tinubu reverses Buhari's import taxes on cars, plastics, others. Says he will not suffocate Nigerians. Tinubu reverses Buhari's import taxes on cars, plastics, others. Says he will not suffocate Nigerians. We'll move now to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Arbitrary taxation. Tinubu signs executive orders, suspends 5% excise tax on telecoms, others. Policy signals current administration's commitment to creating enabling environment, CPPE speaking there. You find all the details on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. To the Leadership newspaper now. Respite for businesses as Tinubu moves to curb arbitrary taxation. Suspends Finance Act, telecom, vehicle import taxes, signed for executive orders. Experts list implications of president's decision. All the details on the front page of the Leadership newspaper, Kemi.
The Punch is next, and the lead story there is on raising inflation, with Punch reporting on the private sector demanding more waivers as President Tinubu suspends taxes. Further rider there reads that vehicle import, telecom, as well as manufactured goods taxes blocked via 4 presidential executive orders, and that's also been reflected on the front page of the Daily Trust that we see next. President Tinubu suspending a 5% telecom as well as vehicle import taxes, and it also reports on further interventions that the president has made in a bid to ease hardship on Nigerians. Let's check out blueprints now. The Population Commission of Nigeria is said to be asking President Tinubu that they need an additional 225.2 billion naira for national census, and says the entire exercise is estimated to cost 546.7 billion naira. The president said to pledge support and seeks prudence and data integrity. That's all on blueprint. On the front page of this Nigeria is drama as Senate probes Buhari's airport concession projects, calls for review of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, 30 years franchise, and says exercise wasn't done in public interest. That's this Nigeria there. On The Guardian, the lead story there reads, advocacy for pay on death law heightens as unclaimed funds near 1.3 trillion naira. This should make for an interesting read. Unpaid, unclaimed funds nearing 1.3 trillion naira. That's on the Guardian, talking about the pay on death law with unclaimed funds nearing 1.3 trillion naira. Nature News says imminent flood. Senate urges federal governments to construct dams and mitigate risks. NEMA issues fresh warnings of impending heavy rainfall. Nature News, and finally, is Daily Independent, which says only capital boast may stop 1,000 to the dollar exchange rate, and that's according to analysts. Veronica.
Right, Kemi, let's look at the executive orders signed by the president just yesterday. He suspended the Finance Act till September, telecoms, vehicle import taxes, and there are those who are excited about some of the tax waivers that he just signed as executive orders. He suspended 5% excise tax on telecoms and others, cars, plastics, import taxes, and all of it. And another paper puts it that some of these persons are asking for more tax waivers. But then for implications of the president's decision for manufacturers and other stakeholders, they're saying that this is a response to the concerns they raised with regards to the situation on the ground. And also the president saying that he is looking at the welfare of Nigerians' bottom line. And that is why he is, ensuring these tax waivers and suspending some of the taxes. Manufacturers, recall some manufacturers, that is Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, had at some point said that they would be leaving Nigeria with the situation on the ground, the fact that they were not having an enabling environment to thrive for their businesses. And they also looked into the matter of the removal of fuel subsidy and all of that. So the president is going in this direction to cushion the effect. And so some are also saying that this could even lead to a drop in inflation at the end of the day.
In the long run, that's what many experts are saying indeed. And well, of course, there's more advocacy that the president should do more. But in the words of the president, especially the spokesperson, Dele Alake, one of the executive orders that the president signed on Thursday was the Finance Act, which they say has now been deferred in terms of the commencement date of the changes contained in that act to September 1. And this, they say, is to ensure the international best practice of the 90-day notice to stakeholders, giving them advance notice for this form of changes, especially in terms of tax. And the president has also said, he said in his inauguration speech that the issue of multiple taxation, which had been a problem for many business owners, would also be addressed. And the president's handlers also spoke in that light yesterday, saying that more consultations would need to be done on this issue to ensure that, people are happier and businesses do not suffer, because Dele Alake also went on to say that what they want to do is not to tax production, but to tax consumption, basically. And the issue of production manufacturing has been a recurring issue, with many operators saying it's been a nightmarish experience for them producing in Nigeria, with some having to go abroad to do the production before they now bring it back into for sale purposes. So this is a critical issue in terms of investment at home and abroad that the government needs to tackle head on. And analysts are saying that so far the government is on the right track,
moving in the right direction. How this will now trickle down to the average Nigerian is what is of major concern for me. Yes, analysts are speaking that on the long run, this would impact rising inflation. And you know how things are with us in Nigeria. When there is an increase in the price of certain things, it takes a lot to say that, okay, because we are seeing some stability in the economy, we're looking at the prices again to ensure that we bring down the prices of some of these things. Hopefully, we see manufacturers respond positively from what they are saying, that this would help them and that they would ensure that we look at the prices of items, especially staples for Nigerians. Consumption is what the government wants to focus on. Yes, Nigerians are also speaking with regards to some of the decisions government has made with regards to taxation. Recently, there were talks about taxing some persons, market women and all of it, and Nigerians reacted in that light. But with this move, how it will trickle down to the average Nigerian is my own concern. And I hope that we see, in coming days, the impact of this decision by the president, and that we ensure that we are our brother's keeper at the end of the day when we are making some of our decisions, especially those who are benefiting from this decision by the government.
Yeah, it will, naturally, one would expect it to trickle down on, the common man, because if we can tackle the issue of, easing for manufacturers now, the issue of doing business in Nigeria, I believe that will go a long way in settling many people, and it will also transcend to other. It will also bring in more positive implications in terms of jobs, in terms of cheaper goods and services, to especially in the issue of manufacturing consumables. Food basically sells, and yes, we are in a time where we really have no choice. Like if we look at the issue of pepper, for example, now we have no choice, but still there are options. But some things are non-negotiable, especially food. But if the manufacturers are happy, creating what
options
with options,
yeah,
and the issue of
a
food chain,
yes,
for example, if they can tackle that, then we'll be in a much better place. Really, jobs will also flourish, and the economy would also be the better for it.
Of course, means that we also have to look into the aspect of electricity, because this is a critical aspect for some of these manufacturers. Ensuring supply for them, stable supply of electricity for them. Yes, we have waived some taxes, but this is another critical aspect that has to be looked into. It's not just about the taxes, but to ensure a balance. That if we ensure that, okay, there's some level of stable electricity, then we can say, okay, we are actually heading somewhere where we can easily see the impact of these decisions that will trickle down as quickly as possible to the average Nigerian. Remember that, yes, some have been talking about the matter of the removal of fuel subsidy, its impact on the average Nigerian. And yes, we are seeing government taking every necessary steps to see how to cushion the effect. But we must also look at some other areas that we can easily address, so that as we are looking at easing, making business easy for persons like manufacturers and every other businesses, then we must ensure that there's stable supply that will complement these tax waivers that we are seeing. Then we can see that we're on track with ensuring that Nigerians do not really feel the brunt with regards to this removal of fuel subsidy.
The issue of consultation too is paramount, and it's heartwarming that the government has also stressed that, because that gap is yawning, and there's so much potential that both sides can get. For the people, we've talked about the trust deficits that needs to be bridged, and for the government, there is the issue of believability, having the support of the people to run with their mandates, to run with their agenda. So it's a partnership, and the government has said it will solicit cooperation and speak to the people and hear from the operators, those who are doing business in Nigeria, even the investors coming in from abroad with the needed funds. Now there is that need, not just to make the environment as clement as possible, but then to open up forums or fora where all these people can come together, and brainstorm and see how far are we going, where do you think we need to, you guys are the ones in the business after all, so where do you think we can also adjust, make the needed adjustments, and a little here, a little there, all for the greater good. So that's, for me, that's big, because there's so much ignorance out there, and of course government also needs to also open itself up, and give governance a human face, really.
Absolutely. Consultations are very important. We saw just some days back that NLC was already talking tough again. We also saw doctors also talking tough. So these are critical stakeholders, organized labor basically, to addressing some of these issues and decisions being taken by government such that they are carried along, and Nigerians also understand the direction government is trying to go at the end of the day. But it is important to note that the president has said that this is part of his mandate, his promise to Nigerians that he campaigned with, and that is what he's ensuring that he's delivering on. So we hope that in the coming days, we'll see the president consulting with critical stakeholders and everyone